Okay, so good morning, good evening, good night from wherever you are watching throughout the world. I'm so pleased and honoured today to have the amazing Mirela Sula, who is the CEO and founder of Global Woman, on our show. And the title of our show today is Courage, Vulnerability and Success with Mirela Sula. Now, before I introduce Mirela, I just want to talk about my very quick journey with Global Woman, because Global Woman has been a significant part of my growth over the past 2 years. Without Global Woman, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Global Woman has enabled me to become a best-selling author. It's also enabled me to speak on global platforms around the world. And also it's enabled me to participate in various articles as well, to publish my own articles. So I thank Global Woman very much for the opportunity. And I'm super honored to have Mirela on our show today. Now, before I formally introduce Mirela, I just want to go through Mirela's outstanding and phenomenal biography, because she is an absolute amazing lady. So Mirela Sula has worked in media and education for the last 20 years and has speaking experience all around the world. Her background takes in psychology and counselling, journalism, teaching, coaching, women's rights and media training. Mirela is the CEO and founder of Global Woman magazine and Global Woman Club, with the recent acquisition of the Businesswoman Today, an online network exclusively for women in business. Mirela is also the organizer of the Global Woman Summit and Global Woman Awards. She has appeared on London Live TV, BBC Radio 4 Women's Hour, Sky TV, Channel 5, and also featured at the Evening Standard and The Guardian. Mirela is studying for a PhD in psychology at Regent's University London to follow on from her master's degree. She is also the author of several books. Her last self-help book, Don't Let Your Mind Go, was a bestseller and is also published in America and Turkey. Mirela has created clubs for women in 26 cities around the world and has helped hundreds of women to unlock their potential, set up their goals and achieve their dreams. She also has created Migrant Women Talks, a platform that invites women to share stories and experience of life in a new country. Mirela has received many awards for her work. She is passionate about empowering women worldwide and also stands up for inclusion, diversity, gender balance, and supporting the next generation. Wow, what an accolade of achievements, Mirela. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mirela Sula to our show. Hello, Mirela.
Hi, Linda. Hi. Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing what you're doing. It's great. We need women, especially mothers, need these platforms, and it's incredible what you're doing, really.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so following on from your amazing accolade in terms of your biography, what I'd like to our listeners to hear is, what is the story behind your success? Who is the real Mirela? So we know all about, everything that you've achieved. How did you get there? What were you like as a child? What were your positive and negative sides of life?
Well, it depends what you define as a success, because if we talk about one big success, it's all the little successes and the achievements that we achieve every day. And this is what I try to do, setting goals and seeing how these goals are reaching toward my direction, toward my vision that I have, and how can I also extend that vision all the time. And as I see that this is happening every single day, we celebrate little achievements, then we see, okay, another success that is helping me to reach what I always wanted. Well, to go back to your question about my childhood, we all come from different stories. We have a past, and sometimes we get stuck in that past for long, and sometimes, and probably most of the time, when we are not aware and awake, we blame that past, we blame our parents, we blame what happened to us, and that was not fair. And because it is something that we probably didn't have a say, it is something that we didn't participate fully with our conscious and decisions, because when we are young, we can't take decisions. There are other people who take decisions for us. And we know when other people take decisions for us, we probably it's not the best decision that we would like to have for ourselves. But the thing is that no matter what has been happening in the past, when the momentum comes that you are able and you are mature to take your own decisions, then instead of just looking at your past, you better start taking that decision right now and start changing the present and start changing the future. So probably you get the point that my childhood hasn't been that great, but it's not a big news, to be honest, because I have heard so many terrible, inspiring as well stories that I've been able to hear as I have been traveling all over the world. And I have realized that my story, it's not necessarily the most horrible story as I thought when I was a child. It's because my parents were divorced and my stepfather was not that nice. But all stepfathers, I mean, not all, there are good stepfathers and stepmothers, of course. But at that time where, you know, in that generation, in that community, in that area, in that environment, it was the stepfather and stepmother was like, people should know what to expect. Now things have changed and I don't blame them at all because I think they did the best under the circumstances. When I say them, my parents or my stepfather, now for me, they are good people in their own way. But I grew up under this bad feeling that why the world is not fair with me, why I should be treated this way, I don't deserve this, why this is happening to me. And I carried in myself a lot of frustration, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, because I didn't know any direction where to go. And it took me a while, I mean, quite a long time, because as a result of that, you know, what happens as a result of one bad decision or one bad feeling, you continue doing, following the same path. So it took me quite a long time to work with myself and stop and reflect and incubate all what I was going through inside my life and inside myself. Yeah. And take a decision to change the direction of my life. So that day happened when I had to ask myself, do you want to leave or you want to leave this world?
And can I just interrupt you there? Sorry, yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that will resonate with so many of the mothers that are listening to this. Because, you know, you say about, you know, things go into momentum, and then once you're able to make your own decisions, then it's up to you to make those decisions. And your past doesn't necessarily equal your future. And, you know, that's so true. And I'm so glad that you shared that. And, you know, when you talk about, you know, uncertainty and anxiety, that all resonates with lots of ladies that are on this platform. And to see somebody like yourself that have, you know, gone through all of those very common day-to-day issues that we all go through, but still manage to find a way to, you know, to succeed and to persevere regardless of your circumstances is very, very inspiring for our listeners. And so you were just about to talk about change, and you know, one of my favorite people in the world, apart from yourself, is Tony Robbins, and he talks about change happens in one moment. And you're a great advocate of change, which I know you're just about to talk about. And I know that in your book, Don't Let Your Mind Go, you talk about change and about mindset. So just carrying on from what you were saying, could you just describe to us a significant moment in your life when you made a change and what you had to do or how you had to train your mindset to adjust to that change?
Well, at that time, I didn't know there is something that it was inside me, and I could click that button and give myself the permission and the power to change my mindset. I had no clue what mindset is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
At that time, when I was going through this severe depression because I lost my daughter, my first child. Mm-hmm. And it came a moment where I just thought there is no point to live anymore. So I was going through a lot of pressure inside, and a lot of negative thinking, and a lot of a tough time, to be honest, because at that time there was not such thing called psychology in our culture. We never heard about it. We never heard about stress or depression, or, I mean, at least I never heard about it in my environment. I didn't know what it is, and I didn't know where to seek help. It felt weird. I was feeling ashamed, and I was feeling scared to talk about it. And it was that moment where I thought, is it worth living this way? And that was probably meant to be, because then I discovered that I'm pregnant again. And that was it. I just had to go through my pain, and trying to understand myself. What do I do now? And it's not a matter of choice now, because you have another creature inside you, and it's not your decision. It's not something that you can do it right now. So what happens then? I gave birth to my son, and another thing that happened is the postpartum, which again, I didn't know what it is at all. I learned all these things later as I tried to help myself, because I wanted to help my child. Then one book guides me to another book, and another book, and another book. And if there is something that really saved me, are the books. First is the book that I started writing. So because I couldn't find a way out of how I was feeling, and all that intensity of all the negative emotions and thinking that I was experiencing, I started writing a book for my daughter, and I called the title of the book was the name of my daughter. So I wrote the whole book. I published the book as well. And I remember myself crying and crying days and nights as I was writing it. And that saved me. I didn't know at that time, but I think that really saved me, because it was the best therapy that I could experience. Otherwise, how could I cope with all that pressure that I was experiencing? So I think I managed to find a tiny little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, to see some hope, and to see some green light that could help me, to guide me the way out. And what happened then is I discovered that there are sessions or seminars or workshops or trainings or all these mindset support that I could find for myself, but they didn't exist in Albania. I come from Albania. Mm-hmm. So because I started reading the books, and I realized that these people who are writing these books, like Tony Robbins or Jack Canfield or Les Brown or Scott Peck or Dale Carnegie, or all these big names that I was reading to help and support myself emotionally, then I discovered that, wow, there is something that I can share with other people as well, because I healed myself. And then as a result of that, I started researching what can I do more to make sure that not only I heal myself, but this will ever happen again. Because this is what I raise all the time when I do mentoring, or I run programs, or I do speaking. I try to speak with women and say, it's not just about you finding a way out of the dark zone. Mm. It is all about what happens if you go there again, because it may happen. We are human beings. We all can go through that. And a lot of studies show that there is nobody that can save himself or herself by not going to that place, because we all go through that place. But the question is, how do we get out of that place? And what do we do? How do we respond to it? Because healthy people are not those who don't face problems. Healthy people are those who accept the problem and find the solution. And they know there is a solution for that. When I came to that mindset, then I started seeking for more and more and more. And I found the opportunity to study counseling and psychology, which I had to study abroad, and I did Sheffield University in counseling psychology just because I wanted to help myself. I didn't have any aspiration to become somebody in psychology at that time, but I thought, wow, this can be something great, amazing for me. So I make sure that I nail it. I'm not going to allow myself to go there anymore. And then what happened after that is I started talking about it. I started helping other people. I did another master degree in positive psychotherapy. I specialized in family therapy. I started running campaigns for mental health. I created a big magazine called Psychologist Magazine in Albania. And I created also a big campaign on meditation and mindfulness, which is for the very first time that I brought it in my country. So I started talking about things that people never talked about it before. Psychology, meditation, mindfulness, and people were looking at me like, what is she talking about? But I had to run out of my country to go and discover, run seminars, run a lot of building platforms and networks for people to be part of it and make sure that they help themselves. So since then, I never stopped. I just keep running and running and running, and I find new things all the time. And I'm telling you, I never went back again from that day that I took that decision. And sometimes not only people who know me from outside, but my family members, they think there is something wrong with me because there is nothing that can touch my brain anymore because I have equipped myself with all the forces. And I believe everybody can do that.
That is so inspiring, Mirela, and thank you so much for sharing that. And you know that story really touches me. You know, particularly when you talk about losing your daughter and writing her a book. That's so touching. You know, I myself, as you know, I've got 3 children, but I don't know if you know, but I also lost 3 children as well. But I wrote letters to each of mine. But having a book is, that's your real anchor. And where you talk about, healing and dark zones, we all go through periods of dark zones, and the importance of that healing process to make sure that you have that, that buffer. So if you feel that you're going back into that dark zone, it's important to have that process in place. And what you've just described there, it will resonate with so many women watching. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then on a much sort of lighter note, just moving forward to Global Woman, you have this amazing mantra that says, if you want to empower a woman, give her a microphone. Tell us a bit about that. How did you create that mantra?
Well, everything comes from your experience. That's the best way. And I always say, if you want to become a public speaker, you can't learn this from the books. You can't learn this from the theory. You have to jump on stage. If you want to learn swimming, you have to jump yourself in the swimming pool. Otherwise, how can you learn that? And everything came naturally because, as I said, as I managed to grow so much in my personal and professional development, I realized that, wow, I can give so much back to the society. I can give back to these people who probably are going through the same challenges as I have been going through. So when I moved to London, I asked myself a question. Do I have the chance to meet women like myself? Because I was feeling lost. I came here as a single mother because I got divorced myself, a long story. And I had very little savings, but I had that breakthrough call that was guiding me to do something different. And that's why I moved to London. And that was 8 years ago. So, but it was really challenging for me to start in such a big city. I never had been living abroad before, apart from a couple of months when I was doing my master's, but not real living, like taking the responsibility to be on your own and build your life in a new country from scratch. With a student visa was really, really difficult. But when I go back and think about it, it's obvious everything happens for a reason. So at the beginning, I thought, great, here I am. Let's put myself in this big challenge now and see what happens. And of course, my family members there and my mother and everybody was saying, you're crazy. You built a wonderful life here. What are you looking for? You want more? I said, I don't know what I'm looking for. There is something, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to search for it. And if I don't find it, nothing to lose. At least I try. And if I come back, at least I come back with great experience, with something that makes me proud that I tried. Because this is the point. When something reaches your mind, you need to ask yourself, what is this for? Why is this there? What are you going to do with it? So when I started this journey for myself, one thing that I realized that I needed to find a community where I belong. I didn't know where I belong. I tried to hang around with Albanian community. I felt I don't fit because it was a gap. The way that I was raised there and the community of Albanian people here was a little bit different, and I was trying to adjust, but I was more into a mindset of, mixing up with the whole world, not just with my community. But still, I wanted to find like-minded people who are sharing the same challenges as me, the same obstacles as me, but also have the same goal and vision as me. Then I started with migrant women because I thought, okay, what are my challenges here? I feel alone. I don't have family support. I don't have any social support. I'm struggling with my English. I don't understand very well what I want to do. Where do I go? So I thought probably there are other women that are feeling like me. So I created this community calling women like myself, say, hey, do you feel like this or is it just me? And then I realized there are so many others. And we created a wonderful platform for migrant women. And then very soon later, we realized that not everybody was resonating with the fact so-called being migrant. And I wake up in the morning and say, wow, I think we should move now to the next level because this is for everybody, Albanians, non-Albanians, migrant, non-migrants, British, let's call it global woman, and everybody is invited.
Yeah.
And then what I realized once I start bringing women together, they're scared to come on stage. Oh, I said, okay, I've been there. I have experienced the same. What made me to get this confidence was taking a microphone and speak about what I want, how I feel, what I want to achieve, what can I help, what kind of help I need. And I invited women to do the same and say, hey, nothing to lose. Just take the microphone and jump on stage, and you are in a safe environment. We're here to support you. Just try, because it's a healing process. So the same healing process that I felt when I was writing a book, the same healing process I felt when I started speaking about my goals and my vision. And I felt the same thing happen with all these amazing women that were coming to share their stories in the Global Woman stage. But where I came up with this mantra now, which went viral, is what I realized that I was seeing women from the very beginning. How do they behave? How do they perform with their presentation? And how do they connect? How do they stand? And then I was observing them in that journey of growth and development in such a short time. And I could see that in 2-3 months' time, they could come, grab the microphone, jump on stage and say, hey, everybody, this is who I am. So we completely different person. Mm-hmm. And I was asking, it was like a real pure research. I said, have you received any mentoring in public speaking or any coaching? No, just here. And then I said, oh my God, this is how it works. If you want to empower a woman, give her a microphone, and that's it. That's the formula. And it has been working ever since.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's so inspiring. And like you say about healing, that is the key thing, finding that anchor that's going to help you to heal. So my final question to you, Mirela, is what would be your number one tip for mothers in business or mothers who are thinking about getting into business, who feel that they're perhaps going through periods of overwhelm, or they feel that they're getting stuck and they just can't move forward? What would be your number one tip for them?
Ooh, tips. Well, I would not call it tip, but I would say, darlings, can you just take it easy? Whatever happens is not going to be the end of the world. Because if it is not the end, it's still good news. And when the end has come, and we can't do anything. So what I'm trying to say here is that focus on things that you can control. If there is something that is out of your control, the only thing you can do is choose how do you react to it? How do you respond to it? Because this is where your power is. And again, whatever is happening in your life is an interpretation. For example, when I think on my past, and I see how bad I felt for things that probably don't matter to me anymore right now, I say to myself, why did you worry so much? Because worry doesn't help you. And I know it is, we are all going through that transition, through this period of time where there's so much uncertainty out there, so much insecurity, so much fear and anxiety. But I'm telling you, there is so much more inside you that you can respond to any situation that is coming and happening into your life. Because if something is happening to you, that means that it's coming to you because it is designed for you. And that also means that you already have been equipped for the solution to match with your problem. Because when the problem has arrived, that means that the solution has arrived before the problem. So first, the solution arrives, and then the problem appears. Because what we usually see is, oh, the problem has arrived, has appeared, but what do we do now? We don't have a solution. You always think about this. If you are facing a problem, ask yourself a question. Okay, here we are now. The problem is here. That means that the solution has arrived before the problem, but I haven't seen it. Let's go and find for it. And if you train yourself with this mindset, with the focus solution orientation rather than problem focus, then you'll see that everything that comes into your life, it will give you that sense of powerful attitude that it's all about you interpreting the way that is in your benefit. So for example, okay, I'm bringing an example from my past. We used to experience a lot of lack of electricity. We didn't have electricity when I was studying, or even later on when I was working. We lacked electricity. And that was the very beginning when I started training my mindset. And I started experimenting, say, okay, before I used to be upset and to be frustrated, and why this, and how can I do my homework? I can't read. And then I started changing. I said, okay, great. How do I use this time now? I can use this time to stay in silence, to think, to contemplate, to incubate, to connect with myself, to talk with the people of my family. So this is an example. Whatever is happening for a reason, and it's happening for better. When you're looking for something and it's not coming, you should be happy. It is the most amazing, wonderful thing that you should experience. When I'm applying for something and it doesn't happen, say, God, thank you. So that means that something better is coming, and trust me, it comes. I applied for a job and it didn't come. I said, God, thank you. So you mean that I deserve better? Then I upgraded myself. I applied for a higher job. And then when that didn't happen, I said, God, you want me to try something bigger? That's why you didn't give it to me. So when something low is not happening, apply for something bigger, because that is not for you. And this is what I did. I got the job, and then I was not happy. I said, God, why not happy? Is this something bigger for me? I quit the job. This is something amazing what I'm living now. I'm living the dream of my life. And then said, oh my God, do I deserve this? Yes, you do. Because if you have come so far, even though you have been going through a lot of challenges, you have become resilient, you have strengthened yourself, and you have earned your success. And this is what I would like you to start thinking every single morning when you wake up.
Mm-hmm. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mirela. And I'm sure it will inspire so many mothers that are tuning in and listening to this recording. So thank you once again for your time. It's a complete honor. I know that you've got lots of exciting things going on with Global Woman.
Yes, we're starting a challenge today. So Linda, we can't wait to have you and all your ladies, if they're happy to join us with the challenge. We're ready to announce today.
Awesome. And so people can connect with you through social media if they want to find out more about Global Woman on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Is that correct?
Yes, of course. Let's Google Global Woman, Global Woman Club, Global Woman Magazine, Global Woman Lounge, Lobby, Academy, Summit, Awards. And by the way, on the 27th, we close the deadline for the awards. So Linda, go and nominate some amazing women that you have in your platform, because I believe they deserve to be recognized and rewarded.
Thank you, I will do. So thank you so much once again, Mirela, for your time and for your inspiring interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, and keep inspiring us. You are amazing. Great job.
Thank you.